little bit. So yeah, guys, David got food poisoning.
I was like shitting dust today. That is how much. That is how often I have been like shitting today. That has been the sheer quality of my turds today. They can't even formulate to be turds. You remember the part of Infinity War where everybody just like vanishes, like they get Thanos snapped? Well, imagine poop coming out of your asshole like that. That's what happened to me. Just all disconnected, like teeny tiny bits of what's supposed to be a bigger puzzle of grandeur, but no. That's just what's been coming out of me since I ate some bad pancakes or something, or got a food bug or whatever since I work with the public. I gotta just be real with y'all for a second before we even introduce ourselves here, because... No, fuck it, I'll do the intro first.
No, I wanted to do it.
Oh, you wanted to do it? Go ahead.
Sometimes asshole, sometimes... Welcome, guys, to the Double D Experience.
I was going to cut you off. You didn't even say the name of the podcast, you absolute simpleton. I was going to say sometimes shitting, sometimes barfing, but never out of my nostrils.
But always food poisoned.
But always food poisoned, yeah. Okay, so that's what happened to me. I ate some bad pancakes or something, or like I was just building up. I felt a little weird the last 2 days.
Is there a way to talk about food poisoning without going into the TMI territory? Like, honestly.
Oh, I don't give a shit. You're listening to the Double D Experience right now. I'm going to talk about my poop in such fucking Wes Anderson detail. I'm talking like M. Night Shyamalama Ding Dong, like fucking Chris Nolan, all conglomerated together to make a film about one gigantic turd.
David's going to make a Frank West story about his poop. So, I covered shit, you know.
I've covered turds, you know.
I covered turds, you know.
No, for real. Yeah. Like, you ever like been with your girl for like hours upon hours upon hours on end, and it gets to the point where you are pretty much just ejaculating dust? You know that part of like the long fuck sessions where like you get to the point where when you come, like you feel that you came, like you had an orgasm, but nothing comes out.
My favorite like
that's what's happening to my asshole right now.
Favorite like sort of metaphor for me to like always just describe that, it's just like the dick going like it's just you got no more anything in the tank. There's just nothing left, and you know it's just so weird too, because like even if anyone's ever like watched a hentai out there, it's just like the guy just has like oceans of jizz just ready on demand, just like
fucking mouse kakaritu. Fucking Mount Kakaritu like eruption every single time he comes.
But in like real life though, it's, and I guess this also depends on like what I don't know what your ball sack is genetically.
Your diet, how long,
exactly
you
too,
jack off.
But it's like
stuff.
After like the first,
frankly, how turned on you are as well. That's another factor, is like, how horny you are.
How like after I feel as if 3 times the average, I think, dude probably is just kind of like, so yeah, he's got something to show for it, you know. It's like I got my star of approval just gonna come out of my dick, and then after the 4th one, it's just kind of like. This is like nothing. You got nothing in the tank.
Nothing in the tank. Got the money in the bank. Got the Axe deodorant so your pits don't stink. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. For real though,
I did not know David was an MC. I did not know this guy could just pull bars
my beard's
out his
sort
ass.
of coming back in, so maybe that's not the only thing that's coming out of my ass. I imagine, dude, that it's like the same equivalent feeling of how Toad's voice actress feels after a recording session of that fucking character. Like, just over and over. I'm going to back up away from the mic a little bit, because, you know, like, and then after, like, doing that for 3 fucking hours, or however long those recording sessions are, probably just like, to go to the doctor. My fucking vocal cords.
Like, she can't even go back home and, like, get dick, because, like, her man just won't understand what the fuck she's saying. She's like, hey, babe. I want your dick. It's like, wait, babe, what are you saying? It's like, I want your dick. I want your
dick. Used to be the same voice actress as Peach, by the way, and just to know how extraneous the of a voice Toad is to do, of course, for long periods of time at least, she would always record Peach's lines first. When they were doing a new game, like she would record Peach's lines first, and then Toad's, because if it was the other way around, there was no way she was going to be able to talk all high pitched like Peach and everything, just like, oh, did I win? You know what I mean? Like that's
it's like,
all like the very exaggerated girly girl voice that she has.
Because especially if you're trying to do it all in one session, like if you're trying to just do that within like a day, chances are, like if you're doing it the other way around, all you're gonna hear is.
How are you, Mario? Like you're just going through like puberty as a grown-ass woman.
But going back,
another reason why Daisy is better.
Facts, true. But also just going back to food poisoning just a little bit. And for all you guys,
as I take a sip from my Gatorade,
and we all like we have the timestamps down there. So if you want to skip this topic, please feel free, because I know like this is gonna get into like some real TMI territory. But David, I want to ask, in your 25, let's say plus years, right, of living on this earth, what was your worst? Because I think almost everyone at least has had one. Like, what was your first? Like, what was your worst food poisoning experience?
Food poisoning experience. Well, here's
and
one.
What did you eat that got it?
Well, here's the thing. For me, it was nothing, because, funny enough, among the worst food poisoning experiences that I've ever gotten was not inflicted upon me. Rather, instead, it was inflicted God's wrath upon my father and my sister. One time, we were in Spain. My sister traveled to Europe a couple of times. My sister's been all over the place. Still does for her job and stuff. And she was in Spain just like many years ago, just like, just on vacation, exploring. I think it was a foreign exchange program. I don't remember what it was, but me and my family, we went to visit her. And they all ate something that I did not partake in. And they got food poisoning around the last day of the vacation, and they were stuck. So, it was just me and my mom who were okay, right? We had to venture out, the two non-Spanish speaking members of the family, into Spain to go to La Farmacia to, like, get medicine for them, and we were the only ones who didn't speak the language. So that was among the worst, because it was awkward, so there was that. But as far as my actual asshole exploding, I'm not going to go into detail about it, obviously, because I'm not going to get too big upon my personal life, but the place where I work at, there is a Philly Charlie's.
Oh, no.
That has let me down twice.
Let you down in terms of stomach?
Yep.
Oh, shit. Oh,
the
shit.
2 times that I have eaten there, it has destroyed my stomach. Both times that I've eaten there. Once is like, a bad batch, whatever. Someone didn't cook something enough, whatever, back there, whatever. Or you just ordered something bad off the menu, which I thought I did. Second time, I got something different.
Okay.
Different day. Still, not only does the meat at that place taste like fucking cardboard and have the texture of such, but it also destroyed my asshole in such a way that it not only, came out in a bad way, it hurt. It really, really hurt. Like, it felt like I was shitting glass. Like, when I ate at those fucking things, man. And I'm, can be prone to hemorrhoids, which is why I thank God every day of my life that I'm not gay. Because, like, the fact that I don't have to take a dick is really, really good in that sense. I had external hemorrhoids once. That was painful. That was no fun. Oof. But internal is better, but it's a different story. Point is, in recent memory, that's among the worst. There was another time where I just ate way too much. Like, I think I had a big dinner, and then late that night, sometimes I do some late night snacking. I ate a whole pint of Ben & Jerry's. Netflix and chilled, and I'm normally able to eat all that, but that time, holy fuck, it was just too much food, and like it hurt so bad to take that dump. So it wasn't even necessarily food poisoning, more so brain poisoning of the Nintoonist, in the sense
Of
that
just
like
stuff in your fucking
stop
stomach.
fucking eating. Yes, exactly. So those are probably the most recent things that come to mind.
I have another kind of story related to
I
eating
was
too
going
much.
to ask you about yours.
I have two relating to one, eating too much, and how actually that prevented me from getting the pussy. And
Oh no.
and the other one being food poisoning, as everyone kind of already knows. The Chinese takeout, me getting basically knocked the fuck out of commission for 2 weeks and not being able to take my final or even study for it. I mean,
Oh, you've told me this story.
That one, and
but you have not told the people.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go.
So, I mean, I think I have told this one at an early episode, but I'll start with the had too much food and couldn't have.
Oh, you did.
Yeah,
this was
I did.
a long time.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
This might
Yeah,
have been like a year ago at
Yeah,
this point.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, if anything, I'll just start with the
It's coming out both ends.
with the story about like how I ate just too much food and I just couldn't get the pussy. And it was around Valentine's Day 2018. So this was like a good month after I had made it official with my current girlfriend. So we went to a Korean Chinese fusion type of restaurant. And I got myself like just a bowl of noodle soup. And then for some fucking reason, and this happens every now and then, but after like one, let's say, I guess you could call it an entree. After one entree, sometimes my brain's like, hey, you could eat more. Go eat more. So after that noodle soup, I had a plate of fried rice. And it was a big, like, if you've ever been to certain restaurants and like how they bring out the fried rice, like sometimes it's fucking huge. It's like a big serving of it. So I ate.
They are known for big portions.
Yeah. And because they're not meant for one person, like my fat ass. But like, I ate that whole plate by myself on top of the noodle soup that I had like after right before. So then me and my girl, we went back to my house, and we were gonna get some of the sexy times.
Very nice.
But no, not very nice because. And by the way, there was, spoiler, I guess skipping ahead just a little bit, there was no bodily fluids involved in this incident. It was just that literally I was so fucking full, and lying down in bed, I was so fucking full that I couldn't even get my dick up. Like, it was just like, there was just so much interference in that whole region that like I just was like even if, let's say, we did fuck, I probably would just be like, all I'd be thinking about is just my stomach. My stomach would be screaming. It's like, you fat fuck, like, what did you do to me? It's like, I'm trying to do anything. I just could not do anything. And the thing was that right after that was our lunch date. We went to a Korean barbecue place right after. And here's the thing, I didn't even fully digest my whole fucking lunch. So it was like still half sitting in my gut as I'm just eating this grade B ass fucking meat off of this like disgusting cast iron grill. And I mean, I got at least, because anyone who's ever gone to like a Korean barbecue place, and especially like if you've ever, if you're from New Jersey, you know about cast iron pot. Over there, like, it's basically all you can eat. So I was just like, after like 5 pieces, like there was a bit of a pace. And then after that 5th piece, I was just like, oh. I was like, oh. And if anyone's ever seen like Korean barbecue meat, and especially depending on which one you get, it's very oily. Like it's very oily. Like you're eating, like, for meat like that, you're eating 20% oil on top of the fucking meat that you're consuming. So we had to like, I felt that she gives me shit for this like every now and then. And she would always like tell me and warn me, like, like, don't eat too much, because like, that's gonna happen again. So I wouldn't say I've learned my lesson, because I still eat like a fat ass whenever I can. I still eat sometimes 2 Chipotle bowls in one sitting. So like, like, it's only if like, I guess like I just have nothing in me. If I'm like that hungry, like I'll eat. Like I will eat, but I'm never gonna do that again. Like that was a terrible fucking lesson I had to learn, because I don't know, like my brain, like especially like my stomach is just like my dick. It's like it's always so positive, you know? It's like, oh, you could do it. You could do it, man. Like you got this. And then literally after I'm done, it's just like, what have you done to me?
Ejaculating dust.
Yes,
Exactly. Like the good life comes full circle that way, doesn't it?
Yeah. And
Oh man.
so that was that story, and I
High
guess
metabolism, right? That's how you're at least able to do that, even when you're that hungry.
yeah, I mean I've always had it high metabolism, but it was just like
Oh yeah.
I think after like a couple of years before, like I think it started to slow down definitely a bit
Same.
because like I have cousins who eat more than me, and they've slowed down too, like in terms of like consumption wise, like how much they could even just like intake in one sitting. I had like a cousin who I think I don't want to tell this story because it's his story, but like he essentially broke his uncle's wallet because of how much he ate. And he just basically said, I'm never taking you here again because of how much he fucking consumed. Like that's how much the bill like got rung
right
up.
in
Yeah.
the wallet,
Yeah.
bro.
So I mean
I feel like my daughter just got married.
gotta just pay that dowry. But
Dude.
yeah.
When the young kids who can eat like that, man, holy
But
crap.
they eat junk too though, that's the thing.
Yeah, but when they're growing, it's different, especially when they're a boy.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like a young, oh my God, I remember like years and years ago, my first ever job when I was working at the Wayback Burger. As a kid, and his mom came in, and there's a little thing there called the cheesy burger, which, you know, is like one of those things, 2 patties on top of each other with the inverted buttery buns and stuff like that, with like 4 pieces of cheese. He ate 2 of those goddamn things on top of like, you know, all the fries on the side and shit. And I looked at him and I'm like, bro, really? And his mom's straight up, it's like, he'll eat it all. And it never occurred to me that entire day until like, I guess like years later when I realized, oh my God, that was me. I ate like that when I was a teenager, and I thought nothing of it. I was just able to eat all that because like your body just needs all that food. Like you're a growing boy, you know. And I'm like, but when I'm looking at that shit at like an adult, I'm like, oh, like. Yeah. I had some home cooked bacon I made for myself. 4 strips with like 2 egg sandwiches that I ate just because I wanted it. Yeah, no, it tasted delicious, and I don't know if it was just like, you know, like I feel so fat like afterwards that I mentally felt shitty, but I thought I physically felt shitty. Like I thought I felt like my blood pressure in my arms like feeling a little different from eating all that. You know, and I don't know if that was just mental or if it was something else, or if in the more likely case I really just cannot eat like that often anymore, because like you, I gauge it completely based on how hungry I am, and also how much fast food I've ever had during a week. Like I never ever try to eat fast food more than once a week at most, like ever. Like there's like I literally work below a Five Guys.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I thought, fuck, like I went in, like they were giving away free Five Guys to the employees the first day that place opened, and I made a fucking scene. Like I went to all the employees and I was just like, nope, you gotta shut this place down. You guys got to stop this out. And they were all looking at me, right? Like all the employees, because they thought I was serious. And the manager was like, no, what's wrong or whatever. I was like, dude, I work literally directly below this. I cannot have a Five Guys this close to me. And they all laughed, and, you know, it was all good. And I got my free bacon cheeseburger and the fries. And Five Guys is fucking divine. It's so good. But
it's definitely on the pricier side, though, nowadays. It used to be, like, just a mom and pop. Not mom and pop, but, like, it kind of had that vibe where it's like, oh, like cheap burgers, you know, that you could buy, like, let's say at least 2 or 3. Like and I always saw like a lot of groups going to Five Guys. Yeah. Usually, and I saw like sometimes like little leaguers and their teams like would all like just get in the car and like they would just go to Five Guys, and like I would just see them all there. And I have to say that like it's so weird because like when we're young, as you said, right? Going back to that just a little bit, like when we're young, we don't think about consumption like at all. We don't think about what the fuck we're putting in us, like in terms of like just ingesting and eating. Like we, back in the day at least, like I remember I drank soda every fucking day, and like every chance I got, especially at fast food, like I was always get a soda, and I would always get like the largest size possible, like basically supersize me, but like, you know, this is after that whole fucking thing. So
supersize me, but without like, you know, deliberately inducing myself to vomit.
Yeah,
by eating
or into a coma.
Copious amount of McDonald's.
Like, but nowadays though, it's so weird. And I mean, I guess for a lot of people, like, you know, if they reach that age, like I'm pretty sure this already hit a lot of you out there. Like I drink more water than I ever have.
Water fucks.
Water fucks. At the same time, I try my best to, because I still get meals when it comes to like fast food, and I think honestly, if you keep your fast food consumption to like maybe once a week, you'll be okay. You won't die.
Yep.
Like, the whole thing with fast food is that you just shouldn't fucking eat it all the fucking time. That's it. Like that's all. If you could do that, you're fine. You could enjoy a Chick-fil-A sandwich every week if you so wish. Like, you don't have to cut Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's out of your life if you just keep it in that like, let's say, time frame. But dude, like any chance I get, whenever I get meals, I always just say you could keep the drink, or at the very least I just give it to someone else that I'm with, and just like, hey, you want this? And then I just drink my water. Like,
I take the big cup and I just fill it with water at the station. I won't lie though, sometimes I fill it with Dr. Pepper. Just as, like, if I feel like I've drinking a lot of water too, but like if I really feel shitty, or I feel like I've been eating too badly recently or whatever, or if I'm just like being healthy conscious in my brain, I'm just like, yeah, ice cold water, nice. And it's not even like the water that I bring with me everywhere to avoid buying water at places. So then I really get my hydration on, and you'll be amazed at how much better that makes you feel. Guys, I don't even like Gatorade. It was never my thing growing up or anything. I guess it was more of an acquired taste, or I really like cherry, so I got the cherry flavor just now. I've been drinking that for like at least an hour, 2 hours now, and holy shit, I feel monumentally better. You don't understand. I've been bedridden. All, like, well, maybe not bedridden, but like we have just been like lying down to cool off all day with like how much those pancakes, destroyed, my innards. And now I'm like just sitting here recording with Dennis, who, again, thank you. You've been so patient, dude. I appreciate it.
That's fine. I was busy myself. No worries, man.
It's all just as well as if anything, man, because like for reasons that I won't get into right now, it's actually kind of good that we had to delay it today anyway, or that the stomach issues came around that kind of time. You'll just have to tune in later to find out what that's all about. But yeah, man, honestly, like, even so, like, if I'm really hungry one day and I'll be like, oh, it's been a while since I've eaten Five Guys or whatever, like, I can have like a burger or whatever, bacon chicken, and I do it and I feel fine afterwards because I know, like, I at least did that in moderation. Yeah. And then I think back to when I was a teenager and I'm like, oh my God, how am I not dead? Yeah. And how blessed we are that we have such high metabolisms. That really is truly a legit, like, insane blessing that you're able to eat like that. And just now, by all intents and purposes, holy fuck, I should be fat, but I'm not.
TBH, a lot of people.
Thank God.
A lot of people that I knew in the past too, like, who ate a lot. Thank God, yeah, they also had fast metabolism. But like the people that didn't though, dude, when it hit them, it hit them. Like them extra pounds like came on in force. Like, especially like, for everyone called it what the
am I gonna blow up? No, worse, it'll go right to your thighs.
And then you'll blow up. But like, everyone knew the freshman 15.
He was thick though.
So, sometimes freshman 50, depending on how much you'd fucking eat. Especially in college, like, if you are also dorming, chances are most college freshmen don't exercise. So most of the time after, let's say, they go to the cafeteria, got their food, they go right back to the dorm and they just lie down and they don't move. They don't do anything. It just lets it sit there. And everyone also knows how abundantly healthy cafeteria food is. No matter where the fuck you go, I don't give a shit. Like, it's the most delicious. No, I'm just joking. But like, it's
chicken tendies,
dude,
your Borgies.
David, I wish you could see, like, back in high school, when I was back in my high school, I wish I could show you a picture of what my standard lunch was. I'm gonna tell you this right now. And just imagine this on one little, like, plastic little tray that you'd sometimes get from like the lunch line. 2 spicy chicken sandwiches, 2 cups of fries. What the fuck else? There were times when I even got like a burger just because I was like, oh, it's like I could fit it in, but like into my gut. So that was like 3 sandwiches, 2 fries, and then sometimes if we had if the lunch line, because there was 2 lines. There was like whatever we had for the day, and then all like the fast foody type of shit on one other section. And I was always at that section. But if sometimes the lunch of the week or the lunch of the day was like pretty decent, sometimes it'd be pizza. I'd go on there like right afterwards with my fucking full tray in hand as they give me the pizza. and they would just look at my plate and go, and then let's see this skinny ass Asian kid and just cannot believe, like, how in the fuck do you eat that much? And I mean, to be fair, like nowadays, obviously I can't do that anymore. Like I look back at that and like I'm just also thinking like that was also my mom's like lunch money. She gave me fucking $10 and I somehow managed to get 2 chicken sandwiches, 2 fries, and on occasion, if I could squeeze it in, whatever we got for the day.
Burger on the side.
And burger on the side, yeah. And then also a Snapple. Can't forget the Snapple. But like, dude, it was like every time I came to the table, my tray was the most like just abundant compared to everyone else's. I've seen like people, like I remember people were actually like looking at my tray and were just like, "Hey, yo, bro, can I get one?" I'm like, "No, bro, this is all for me." And here's the thing too, I also walked a lot. I think by the time of my latter half of my high school years, so junior and senior, I was walking a lot, and
you know that balances it a little bit, especially when you're in college as well.
Yeah. So that's why, like, at least, like, you know, especially when I was in Brooklyn, I was taking the train going to school, and plus on top of that, a bus as well to like go back home. Mm-hmm. So I was moving around a lot. So I mean, at least thankfully for that, like I was fortunate in that like I was just inherently burning off all them millions of calories, like just walking around New York, and plus even going when I was in high school. But like I know for I think it was as soon as I started driving, I didn't walk shit. I didn't walk ever. As soon as that convenience just like came into my life, I was like, I ain't walking. Fuck walking. That's for peasants. Like
I get my steps in at my job, thank God, and I think that's helped my back a little bit, ironically enough, as well as, you know, the diet there, because you go to most places in America. The reason we're the most obese country in the world is not just because we're pretty much among the wealthiest, but it's also because, and I'll get like a little bit into the sociological aspect of this right here. It's because it's cheap.
Yeah.
It's because fast food is cheap. Everybody thinks that, you know, people just go and eat these things because, oh, like it's just so delicious or whatever. It's not just because it's delicious. It's because you get like a full meal sometimes for like $5, even cheaper, like a full hot meal. And for people in lower, like, you know, income neighborhoods or just, you know, people who are below the poverty line and stuff like that, it's just the easiest, cheapest way to, you know, satisfy your hunger. And it's also one of the unhealthiest. Mm-hmm. I don't know if there's a complex for that or whatever, or like how intentional that is, or if it's something else, or just, you know, capitalism doing its thing.
People may call it a conspiracy, but I truly believe like they've made it that way on purpose.
Yeah,
I really do
so
believe
people
it.
can buy it. Yeah, and it's like, you know, but the thing is that ain't always the case, because you have like college food or whatever, which they usually jack that shit up since you're right there. And then again, Five Guys, which is like sort of quality fast food, if you can call it. I think it's among the best of like the burger chains or whatever, in my humble opinion.
They actually cook the fucking thing. That's
in front of you.
Anything, yeah.
But that's then like, what's your excuse? Because it's fucking expensive for that shit.
Nowadays,
like,
at least.
Yeah,
back in the day,
what I'm saying,
back in the day, it wasn't like that. People, like, I don't know if people are around, like, from years ago, but I remember when Five Guys burgers were, like, $4 or $5. Now they're, like, $8 for, like, $1. And I'm like, I could, and here's
current
the thing.
bacon cheeseburger price at Five Guys, and I don't know if this is just the place where I work that jacks up the prices
Mall
or whatever, frankly,
prices, small food court prices tend to be a little bit more up.
$11.50 for a bacon cheeseburger, bro. For just the fucking cheeseburger.
So
and
no,
then they get
no
you
fries.
by saying, not even with the fries. Not even with the fries, which are also like $5 extra, by the way, for the regular size. Shit. And they get you by saying the toppings are free, which they are, but I guess nobody puts 2 and 2 together to say that's included with the price. It's like this little package of playing cards that I've ordered for myself over here. Yeah, you know, you might have spent $220 a grand total on playing cards recently in one shipment. Who the fuck would do that? I know, but the shipping was free. You see what I'm getting at?
No, that's how they get you.
So
obviously, yeah.
Dumb. But yeah, I did. I guess I'll talk about that in a bit. I don't know, but yeah, I agree. I don't think it's a complex. I think it's just pretty much like, just sort of capitalism doing its thing. Like, you know, like the prices are cheap. You know, like it's easy to get a hot meal. They get good turnover over that, and so it's just easy to do in that sense. Same with Dunkin' Donuts. It's just easy to just grab a quick coffee and go.
Chinese takeouts are also in that same vein, and I almost forgot about them because at the very least, like, whenever you think of like Chinese takeouts, like everyone just sort of thinks like, you know, I don't think anyone ever thinks Chinese food is healthy. At least, like, obviously the American Chinese that everyone, like, you know, Chinese takeouts, like those kind of foods, everyone kind of knows, like, well, yeah, obviously they're not the most healthiest of dishes out there. Fucking, you see, like, even just wonton soup itself, like, looks like straight up, like, half oil, half hot dishwater, half salt, and then fucking the wontons just thrown in there. And also, obviously, for anything else you eat, like pork fried rice, that, dude, do you even know where that pork is from? I mean, no one wants to know, but it's like, and I don't give a fuck either, because, like, I still eat it anyways every now and then. But I'm just saying, though, like, at the very least, like, Chinese takeouts are definitely, like, I think up there when it comes to very easy, accessible, cheap food that you can get. And I mean, I will say even this, I think even Chinese food takeouts are even just a bit better than normal takeouts. Because at the very least, like, they are cooking the food. Mm-hmm. Like, you do see them cooking in the kitchen past the counter. If anyone's ever not been to a Chinese takeout, which is impossible in this country. Even fucking Montana has a fucking Chinese takeout. Like,
I would never want to eat at the Montana Chinese takeout, bro.
But my whole thing is that everyone in this country knows a Chinese takeout restaurant. They've seen it at least once. Even fucking Idaho has a Chinese takeout restaurant. And you almost wouldn't even expect them to have one. Even a place that is abhorrently racist as Mississippi has a Chinese takeout. And it's headed by a guy named Wong, who gets fucking trucker McJackson come in and be like, "Hey, can I get that pork fried rice with shrimp and broccoli? And can I get wonton soup with that?"
I'd like an order of the sesame chicken.
I would like General Sal's chicken.
I would like an order of General Tisso's General Tisso's chicken, please.
I would like General MacArthur's chicken.
So let's get a little throwback Thursday to the fucking dude, the Chinese chef who pissed in that racist guy's soup. Shoutouts to that, man.
Me Chinese. Me play joke. Me play pee in your Coke. One of the greatest nursery, like, fucking rhymes I've ever heard in my life. It's just, everything about it is just perfect from beginning to end.
I'm still partial to Dan Holder Tighter, she's a fighter, Schneider. I'm still very partial to that one.
But so basically, to conclude, I think healthy food is, it really depends on your neighborhood. And I think if you are sort of in a low income area, it's, I think, a bit harder to, like, go and even just do groceries. Like, I've been around Patterson. I've been around even Newark. There's some spots but they're more towards, like, the nicer areas within those two towns. And
there's
Patterson,
a Whole Foods in, like, the gentrified spot.
Yeah, and, like, Whole Foods in Patterson is huge. But, like, when you have a huge city,
Patterson has a Whole Foods?
No, no, Patterson doesn't have a Whole Foods. At least from what I know.
Newark has one. I know. But,
like, Patterson and Newark both have, like, very, like, small areas that are very, like, nice. Like, this is, like, where you'd want to live. And you almost forget that the rest of Newark and Patterson is utter garbage outside of those little bubbles. It's like, as soon as you cross that street, you just see no street lights. Probably a mugging taking place, like, 2 blocks away from you. Like, right after you just exit that area. And Hoboken is also in that same fucking vein. Like, Washington Street or Washington Avenue, whatever the fuck you call it. As soon as you cross out of there, it's just, like, straight up murder city. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, outside of those, like, that one nice street near the waterfront. After that, it's just garbage out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a dude, like, literally, like, at the peak of the pandemic, you know, no vaccine, no nothing, just come up to me in my window, because I used to have to go to the Whole Foods there, like, once every 2 weeks or once a week. I don't remember how often it was at the time. I had to go there because, like, when I was working for Rise, actually, I would go, like, to the Whole Foods there to help merchandise the product. And I park, and this dude just comes right up to my fucking window. He knows I can't get out of the car because, like, he's in front of the door, and I'm parked in between, like, 2 vehicles already. And the guy's telling me all sorts of shit about, like, how, like, oh, he needed money or whatever, like, to get, like, some food or whatever at a gas station. And I wasn't gonna fucking argue with this guy. I frankly was taking the virus very, very seriously at the time. So I was trying to not be near anybody. And yeah, this guy, no mask, no nothing. He spit into the window of my vehicle while he was speaking. And all I had on me was $20. So I think I just gave this guy probably $20 worth of money or whatever. And the guy freaked out. He freaked out when I gave him $20. He was ecstatic when I did that. To the point where he was invading, like, my personal bubble and shit like that. And he didn't even, like, mean to or whatnot. And, like, he tried to shake my hand. I had to tell him no because I didn't want to shake his hand. This is when we knew literally nothing about COVID besides the fact that this virus fucked you, basically, and there was no vaccine or nothing for it yet. And when I did that, when I said, like, I'm not really comfortable doing that because of the virus, he was like, oh, all right. And so he just backed up, and the guy straight up gives me a fucking salute.
Are you serious?
Dennis. He saluted me, Dennis, for the amount of drug money that I gave that bum. Was so extraordinary. That was legit. He could have gotten like two syringes of heroin off of that if that's what he was looking for. Because heroin's like $10, I think.
He was probably like, yo, it's gonna be a wild night tonight.
he didn't look like a junkie. I'll give him that. He didn't look like a junkie at all. Maybe he just like legit just needed money. I was in Newark. It's a very low fucking poverty. Low income area. So I gave him that because that's all I had. I'm like, I'm not gonna argue with this guy. I don't know who he is. You know, and all I had was the 20, and I'm like, there I go. Yeah. And he literally came up to me, and he knew what he was doing. He came up to me, like, walking right to my window where he knew I was parked between two vehicles. I literally couldn't get out of my car. So
and chances are, maybe he even had, like, a shiv underneath his fucking
That's what I'm saying. So I didn't know who this fucking guy was.
Like, listen, bro, just take this Jefferson and get the fuck out my face. Just get out. Like, just go. Just go.
That was Andrew Jackson, I think.
No, Jackson's on the 10.
I thought Jackson was on the 20.
No, Jefferson's on the 20.
Oh, that's good at least.
You gave him a slave owner.
No, I was just gonna say, because, you know, Andrew Jackson, I saw that question on Reddit, like was Trump really the worst president? And a lot of people in there was like, bro, Andrew Jackson, like, he kinda... You remember, you want to do another Throwback Thursday to an old Double D experience here real quick? Be like, oh, well, you see, kids, welcome to history with the Double Ds. Today we're going to talk about the Trail of Tears. Yeah, you know, and like, that's, I guess, I don't know. Different strokes for different folks. Hard to compare them.
We're going to talk about the Rwandan genocide.
Well, you see, kids.
There were these people called the Hutus and the Tutsis. They did not like each other. And one of them straight up genocided the other.
Hi there, I'm Hitler. Oh boy, here come the Russians. Boy, there sure are a lot of them. There sure are a lot.
Do I see American tanks right now?
Well, I'm sure it can't be that bad from the other, so shit.
They landed.
Well,
Ah, shit.
Well, let me check up over down the south side. Oh, fuck, it's Africa. Oh, boy. They're coming from Egypt.
And they're bombing us from every corner of the map.
I'm sure in the middle, in the internal situation, it can't be... Oh, what? Oh, we spent all our money killing the Jews? Oh, shit.
Dresden's on fire.
Why am I swearing? This is supposed to be for kids. I forget. It's supposed to be like...
They'll just censor it.
Dude, I would legitimately be so fucking down to do fucking deeply inappropriate fucking historical puppet shows at the local library with you. Come on, you gotta admit that'd be funny.
Dude,
like, just getting thrown out of the... That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, I don't know. Like, I feel as if, like, if we're gonna educate these dumbass kids, we gotta at least, like, you know, like, we gotta... I don't know. I feel as if we gotta take that, like, bit at least a little seriously. If we're gonna at least teach them anything. But, like, I do...
Subscribe to the Double D Experience!
It's, like, completely unrelated to, like, whatever the fuck, like, we were just talking about at all. And, like, yeah... By the way, after learning about this horrific genocide that killed millions, listen to this podcast that talks and makes light of those millions that were killed.
Jesus Christ.
So, I think it's... we call it... What were we talking about? What the fuck?
We, I sort of segued from one topic into the end of the other, because we talked about fucking... I was talking about that guy that I gave that 20 to.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Then I said, like, oh, like, no, it was Andrew Jackson on the 20. It's like, no. And then you were like, no,
Oh,
you
okay.
dumbass. It's like, it was Jefferson who was on the 20. That led us to talking about the presidents real quick of who was the worst president. We talked about the Trail of Tears, and that devolved into puppet shows. I'm proud of myself for remembering all that. Because usually we just jump from one thing to another on this.
And then we have no memory of it at all.
Exactly. But that's the
Okay.
Double D experience, baby. And if you don't like that, you can, suck your own dick, and then Dennis's, and then mine. In that order.
Just make sure
Dennis isn't gonna let you suck his, for obvious reasons. But like,
make sure you're clean. At least if you're gonna
please.
suck, if you're gonna suck David, like don't give him gonorrhea, herpes, syphilis. Having like more STIs than like a bank account, like it's just yeah. Don't kill David with that beard.
It reminds me of this fucking Randy. At the end of Purple Privilege, Randy Fellface, like because he was on this American reality show that like for stand-up comics, and the creative producer didn't really like him because he just didn't have a story or whatever to tell, like in like those blurbs or whatever. Like he's just like, oh, my father didn't molest me. I don't support the troops. What am I gonna do? So he was talking about how he was like going around LA trying to like just make his life worse so we could have something to talk about. So he's like, I found this homeless man, sitting at the top of like the Hollywood Hills or whatever, and I'm like, he's bound to have some sort of like incommunicable disease. So I start sucking his dick, right? Incredible. Which, by the way, I guess I'll talk about that. It's not a big topic or nothing like that, but Randy Fellface is my favorite comedian. He's a puppet from Australia, and he's going on a North American tour. I am going to see him, actually. I have reserved seats to go see Randy Fellface. And by the way, I remember you were giving me some suggestions of people to go see him with. You want to know who I wound up going to see him with?
Are you taking your ma?
No.
Are you taking your mother?
No, I'm not taking my mother to go see the comedian.
Okay. Are you taking a female friend?
No.
You are going with Glenn Tendo.
Yes.
Fucking knew it. Even though it took me 5 tries to guess. I fucking knew it.
I left it in there for a little while. Oh, suck my dick. Whatever.
Why this time?
I don't know, man. Like, it's just been a while. It's just been a while, you know what I'm saying? I wish Daisy was real so she could.
David.
Because I relate to them in that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, tomboys are just so superior.
Oh, okay.
In every sense of the word. As somebody who dated tomboys, it's the best. Because they're, like, into, like, the dude shit. But they still want to fuck you. You know how rare that is?
It's as long as they don't got like a yeah, you like that voice.
I mean, I have seen like, some cases where they pretty much, thrust into you from the front. Which I gotta say, to any women who do that, that's fucking impressive.
Yeah.
Like to just swivel your whole hips like that forward when your genitals are inside your body.
Impressive. Really.
Impressive stuff.
Like Olympic grade type shit. Like that's Olympic.
Like My Fair Ladies.
That's Olympic grade fucking. That's what that is. Like, honestly, like, holy shit, what a trooper. Honestly,
yeah, that's part of the reason I like Daisy so much is because, like, she's the kind of girl where if you asked her to, like, do anal or whatever, she would tell you to bend over. And I think that's badass. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I would do it. I don't think I would never let a girl peg me, I don't think. But I just think it's badass of her to ask. You gotta admit, like, just for her to be like, all right, bend over.
So, Daisy's that kind of girl.
Yeah.
Peach would say no anal ever.
No. Peach would never let somebody ever touch her asshole. Like, ever. Are you kidding?
Rosalina would be very into toys. Like,
yes.
Very, very, very much so.
We are talking about Mario characters in case that wasn't clear.
We're going into the NCU right now. But,
yeah,
which,
man.
Oh my god, I'm really wondering how the fuck that movie's gonna turn out.
You gotta think about this for a second when it comes to Rosalina, though, who I hope makes some type of cameo appearance. Maybe that's who maybe that's who, why can't I fucking remember his, right, Charles Martinet. Maybe that's who he's voicing in the movie as the secondary characters. Like, I get to be Rosa. I don't know. But, you're absolutely right on that, Mark. And for those of you who haven't played Mario Galaxy, I mean, I guess spoilers for Mario Galaxy. The lore of that is that Rosalina is like sort of like the mother to the Lumas, the adopted mother to the Lumas. Basically, she just took it upon herself to raise all of them and watch over the cosmos and such. And that's because like she sort of left her home accidentally when she was like a young girl, when she was like literally a kid. So she's been isolated on that space station, the Comet Observatory, with no man ever in her life at any given point. And then all of a sudden one day, you know, this fat Italian cuck just fucking crash lands on the moon. And she starts floating down from the heavens, making this big fucking spectacle of herself or everything, because she's just like, oh my god. Oh my god. It's a man. Holy shit.
A penis.
Like whatever that Greek legend is with like the island with all the women who have literally never seen a man before.
Themyscira? It's like basically where Wonder Woman originated from?
It's where what Wonder Woman was based off of, like the Amazons. I think, you know, like just all like the badass warrior women and stuff who have never seen a man before. I don't know how they reproduce. It doesn't make any sense. There's no semen anywhere.
Think in the Wonder Woman lore, it's like they've had men come. They've had men come to the island, but like literally they would just like kill them like as soon as they land because it's like, oh, no men! And just chop their heads off.
Then they would just like take their jizz and that's how they reproduced.
I don't know. It might be like kind of like that whole snoo thing from Futurama. Where it's like they just like, if they ever do crash land, they just fuck them and then they dispose of them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Cause like,
it's like literally death by snoo.
Well, it has to be, because otherwise how do they survive?
Oh yeah, like, but they're also immortal. They're also immortal though.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, they don't. Oh, at least in the Wonder Woman lore, they don't age.
Never mind. I don't know about the Greek mythology and stuff, which when you think about Greek mythology, it's basically just professional fan fiction. You ever think about that? You ever think about how, like, you know, people get made fun of for writing fan fiction for, like, Mario or their favorite anime or whatever, and they're considered losers, but you can get a fucking degree in Greek mythology?
Which is
you ever think about that?
Which is, if anything, it's legitimate fan fiction.
Exactly.
Because these were stories that were basically told from, like, thousands of years ago. So, like, I honestly do think the versions that we have are not the same versions that were told, like, obviously years ago, like thousands. Yeah,
it probably got bastardized somewhere along the way. Like, so if they can major in that, why the fuck can't I major in hentai?
How funny would it be though, in that, like, you know, the version of Zeus that we have now, and Zeus is pretty much a gigantic asshole, like, from beginning to end of the whole Greek mythology sort of stories.
Literally all of Greek mythology's problems come from the fact that he just straight up could not keep it in his pants.
Like, how much you want to bet the version of Zeus that we have this, like, in this timeline was a completely humanized version of, let's say, the version they had from thousands of years ago. Like, you thought he was a dick now? This guy was the fucking black hole of evil. Like, way back. I mean, but also, he was the god of everything, at least in Greece. So, like, you know, you have to follow him. Like,
he was basically like the sort of Older Testament version of Zeus. Like, you know, when he's an asshole, didn't learn his lesson yet.
He's like, he was a grumpy old man back then. He's still a grumpy old man now. It's just he's a little better. He's a little better. Just a little bit. You know, he didn't just, you know, fuck them and then just shove the baby in them and that was that. Now it's just, I have reasons why I'm like this. What's your reasons? I can't tell you. That's like what all these dumbass gods, like, they all have like their reasons. Like, things like, oh, you can't. Like, they, like, the mortals always ask. It's like, why are you like this? Like fucking, who was that guy? Prometheus?
Like, you're calling out, like, you're checking your friend for being toxic.
Yeah, literally.
Fam, why you like this?
Like, I bet you all the guys, like, and people even give shit to Hades. And I think, at least for me, I thought Hades was an asshole because of Hercules. Because, like, that was, like, the kind of a popularized retelling of, like, Hercules' story, or Heracles at that, you know, if anyone wants to get real OG with it. But, like, you know, in that movie, we thought, oh, Hades is an asshole. Like, he is jealous of his brother. He wants to rule Olympus, but he gets the shitty job, like, downstairs and deals with dead people all fucking day. But when in actuality, like, if you even just read, like, a few stories, which Hades was involved in, as far as the Greek mythology goes, like, he, believe it or not, he's a very dutiful brother, if you kind of look into it. Because funny enough, nobody. I don't know. I don't know maybe how it went, but like I think Zeus perhaps like kind of was like maybe just calling everyone up and being like, "Yo, who wants to rule the underworld?" And nobody wanted to fucking go down there because it's like, "Yo, it's cold as fuck. It's dark as shit. I ain't getting my vitamin D down there. Fuck that noise. I ain't going." And then Hades was just like, being like the dutiful brother, was like, "All right, yo, bro, I'll go." And the thing is too, like, it's kind of true that all the gods kind of conspired against each other. Like they always do, like in the stories. Like one's always trying to fuck over the other, and like especially
sometimes
when
literally.
Yeah, and like especially when they have like mortal champions involved, like Achilles and a few others, like they always just try to like fuck over the other guy because like they want this guy to win, because like it's just like this whole ego shit, like that they just want to be proven right. It's like, yeah, fuck your guy. My guy kicked your guy's ass and he fucked that guy's wife. Fuck that guy. Like it's just like,
why didn't
like
they teach
this
it to
huge
me like that in fucking high school, bro?
And people even forget too that like those same stories were written by humans. They were written by men. So clearly, like, there's like gonna be obviously discrepancies involved. I don't think you even have to be like a, let's say, expert in Greek mythology to kind of even know that. And obviously, those myths were made so that they could keep the Greek population like in check and in control, because you have to put the fear of God into like masses of people for them to not kill you. So,
is it because like do they teach that in school and that's like okay? Because like it's not really a religion. Is that why?
Like the mythology, like
yeah, because like even in like history classes or whatever, they'll like mention like why wars happened if it was because of religion or whatever, but they'll never teach somebody like about the deeper like nuances of it, if I remember correctly. But yet we were supposed to take like the morals and the messages of like Greek stories.
Yeah.
When we're young, I don't understand. Like I'm in the same boat. Like why don't they teach me the same thing about Mario Galaxy then? About how if you're like this cosmic space bitch who has literally never even seen a dick before, that it's not unnatural to want to fuck the one man that you've ever seen in your life besides like your father. You know what I mean? If I was Rosalina, and like don't get me wrong, women are in way like more control of their sexuality than men are. Man doesn't see a woman for like God knows how many years. He's gonna go insane. Like he's gonna go insane not having like pussy for that long. Women, I do believe like there was probably a point where like if they haven't seen a man in God knows how many years, even they'll like be like a little like cock crazy at that point,
yeah,
or
little jumpy
crazy, whatever they're intending, a little jumpy. That was Rosalina's entire fucking life. You mean to tell me that she met a man for the first time ever and she didn't immediately turn to him? It was just like, fuck me! It's like, no. There's no way. And I think there's like some hidden lore or whatever where she's got like sort of like a black hole underneath her dress or some shit. But at the same time, it's like, no, like, I don't get it.
Like even though that island of Amazons, right? It's like there's just this one island that is just filled with hot women. Hot women. Like apparently, I think one of them. I think Aristotle, whoever, basically said like, oh yeah, that island Amazons had like fine ass bitches, like the finest bitches in the land, like literally. So it was like kind of.
I believe those were his exact words. He just came back, finest bitches in the land. Yo, you fellas want some pussy? I know a whole island full of the most fire bitches you've ever seen in your life.
But imagine also just living around that time and hearing about this like rumored island. And you know how like even back in the day, like let's say a couple centuries ahead, when we got told that like when they found the New World, like for the first time, like they thought, oh, this shit's India, but this was like a whole new continent that they just discovered, right? I almost feel as if like discovery in that sense was kind of the feeling of discovery, and like let's say the curiosity of it was also probably in a lot of those like early civilizations. Like there was probably one fucking sap that thought like, oh yeah, like it's probably a virgin too of the village or whatever.
Yeah,
and probably just thought like, yo, I'm gonna find this island of like dick deprived women and just be their king or some shit. Like I don't know. Be their king.
What did he think? Like he was gonna wash up the shore and he was just gonna take his cock out and they're gonna be like, what is that? Oh, I don't know what it is, but I've
never seen that sword before. Why is it attached to your body?
We shall make him our king. Meanwhile, he goes up to fucking Wonder Woman land and they just chop his fucking head off. Like, put it on a pike. And then take his cum and his dignity among all else.
Like, right before they kill him, they make him come. And they just, like, behead him, like, right then and there. And they just stick his head on the shoreline of their beach to, like, kind of give a warning to any intruders and shit. And, Greek, I don't know, Greek myths.
We get some F's in the chat for Chris Pine. Was the only man that any of those women had seen in eons or ever, and he still didn't get laid.
Oh my god, he didn't. That's right.
No.
Yo, but to be fair though, does Wonder Woman end up fucking Batman?
In the Justice League movies, I didn't see that. No, and no. I don't think that's how it goes. They just have like to defeat Superman at first because when they resurrect him, he's evil at first, and then he gets fixed or whatever. And there is this one dude who acts like all misogynistic towards her, and then I don't think Gal Gadot stabs him. I think she just like tells him off or some shit. It would have been hype if she stabbed him. To be honest.
True.
Yeah, but like that isn't what happened. That isn't even what that movie was. It's like you go in and you think it's gonna be like this like fucking modernized, like super like I'm talking like freeform network like feminism shit where they're like, you know, like all misandry and toxic. Like, see, men are the worst. Like I would have gotten up and walked out of the theater, but it did it in a way where it's just like you don't have to hate men to prove how much of a fucking bad bitch you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just she just does the right thing and she's powerful and she's strong and she like has like the moral compass, just like, you know, your standard fucking Caucasian ass gets shot in the shoulder but lives like, you know, modern male, white male action hero would. It's like you give a woman those same qualities. It's like she's fighting for justice too, and she just happens to be a woman. It's like, who's your favorite Mexican American superhero? It's like, what? Same thing that Gabriel Iglesias has been asked. It's like people have literally asked him, what's it like to be a Latino comic? And it's like, what the fuck kind of question is that? He's just a comic that happens to be fucking Latin.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
it. Like, you're asking me what it's like to be brown? Is that it? Is that literally what you're asking? What's it like to be a woman comic? And it's like, yeah, I'm sure there's some ceilings you had to break or whatever, but it's like, you're still a comedian. Like, you've gone through, like, some similar hurdles as the same men ones do. The nervousness of being, you know, having to get in front of people and be, like, having to be funny or whatever. You know, some little
people
teasing towards next week.
People love to like focus on labels so much for some reason. And like I remember, I mean, this also goes both ways because sometimes producers of media also love to focus on labels too a lot. And especially,
they can market them a certain way. That's why they do that.
Because they want to target, like, let's say that audience that they're trying to, you know, target that audience that they're trying to target. Yeah, like they're trying to target that specific audience. Like especially for a lot of movies, let's say like Crazy Rich Asians. When that movie came out, it was not meant for everybody. But to be fair, everyone did enjoy it. So I mean, there is that as well in the sense that, well, like everyone thought like, oh, this movie's just like specifically about crazy rich Asians. But no. But like anyone who watched it, like all said like, oh, this is some funny shit. Like they really like enjoyed it, the comedy of it and all, and like even just like the tone of the movie. Like it was very enjoyable. And like, I mean, I'm Asian and I watched it and I thought it was like an okay movie, if anything. It was fine. But like the pandering goes both ways though too. Like I think for production companies that like are trying to just like shuffle out all these like, let's say like nationality specific movies, like there's a lot of them nowadays. And you know, some of them, I guess, like I'm not saying that like, you know, no one they shouldn't make them. Like I think there's some stories that should be told, of course, especially even like that one Martin Luther King movie that came out a while back, Selma. Yeah, which was like specifically about like the whole march that they did.
That was directed by a woman.
Yeah. So like as far as those kind of stories and everything, like those should be told. Yeah, they're historically significant, especially that one, you know? Like I don't know if there will ever be a movie about the Japanese internment camps from the during World War II and like maybe have a movie about that, because I almost feel as if though, like even after, I mean, I think the story should be told, but it's just like, I don't know, like it's just that memory is still so fresh in a lot of like Japanese Americans' minds that it's like they'd have to get someone that is very like almost an expert. They'd have to get an expert, yeah, like on that whole topic, so that at least they show it in a very like objective sort of light, because like that's one of the times in at least in American history that I feel as if even though we do talk about it a lot, I don't think it's ever really emphasized enough how much of a dick move that was.
I just found a list of feature films about the Japanese-American internment.
How recent are some of them?
Here's one from 2007. Focuses on internees' use of baseball as a source of entertainment while living in the camp. Here's one from 2014. Under the Blood Red Sun. A 13-year-old Japanese boy faces monumental adversity in 1941 Hawaii when the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor. This one says 2018. It says it's a short film, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a short film, but that's what that one's about. Here's another one from 2018. Go for Broke, an origin story. Follows a group of University of Hawaii ROTC students during the tumultuous year after the attack on Pearl Harbor as they navigate wartime Hawaii and fight discrimination. All right, so I don't think that one's necessarily about the internment. That one's just about, like, you know, Japanese Americans, like, facing discrimination. But at least some short films here and there. But maybe not a feature. Do you think they're waiting until, like, maybe anybody who still lives in America experienced that or, like, dead?
I think I think I'm just kind of basing it off of the fact that the climate is perfect, I think, for a movie like that, because of all like the rise in Asian American hate crimes across the country and everything. So I bet you if I don't know if they are, I have no idea like what to base that off of, but I honestly feel as if like if you were
Dennis,
if you're part of an Asian American sort of film production company, and if you're not jumping on this, like what the fuck are you doing?
Your genius is showing, dude.
I'm I'm not saying that you should profit either off of like an incident like that. I mean, there was even like the LA riots, which has never been touched, I think, in film, because like that would make all the Asians and black people in LA remember that whole history and probably go at each other again, like how they did during that whole riot when it happened.
The 13 Reasons Why effect, where it's like that film was like the show was like they said. You know, like they rewrote this to like talk about the experiences of a teenager who killed himself, and literally all it did was raise teen suicide rates.
Yeah. So maybe I don't know. Like there is like a butterfly effect when it comes to that. So I mean, you know, who's to say like if it does happen, if it happens? But I mean, I'm surprised though, at least that not that I'm saying that there has to be one, but I'm just surprised there hasn't been one, because at the very least, like, you know how Hollywood is always just so like fucking money horny, and like they just want like, you know, to cash in and get like a check for like for whoever. But like I'm just surprised they haven't even like tried to make a movie out of that yet. Dude,
your film school is showing, because you're thinking like a film marketer here. You know what I mean? Like I've taken some screenwriting classes before, and I'm not gonna. I think I've mentioned before the screenplay that I used to write back in 2020 when we couldn't leave my house. I've since been focusing on other things, but one of the reasons, you know, besides that story was mine and that I really felt like I could make it full and unique, is because I also thought like I could genuinely have that film made one day, because I think it's really marketable. I think it would be modern, it would be trendy, and it would appeal to such a mass, especially since I would like make. Especially since, like, you know, the ideas that I had for the main character would appeal to like such a general audience, to try to get the kind of people who would never see a movie that would be that quote unquote progressive to come see that. You know what I mean? Same like what you're saying for like sort of the Japanese and internment camps or that kind of movie. It would fit the climate. If you can find a way to like trick audiences into thinking that like this is gonna appeal to the most bottom of the barrel like customer movie base or whatever, like we got like Marvel movies out here, here's something general that the people will love, and then they come see it and it's something completely different, that's when you struck gold. Because you take a good, meaningful, impactful movie that, let's be real, sometimes the lowest common denominator might not see, and you advertise it in a way that appeals to the lowest common denominator. That is how you make a success. I think.
It's
Maybe.
Also the reason
I'm literally not a professional film marketer. Do not listen to me. I'm just saying I think that's something that would work, because marketability on a film so important. If you can't advertise it, if like you feel like the film companies can't sell it, they're not going to make it.
It almost lives or dies depending on the marketing. And I think even it's the reason why that around that time when a lot of those hate crimes were starting to be on the rise, Shang-Chi, that one Asian specific Marvel movie that had come out, which was also like, it did very well, believe it or not. It did very well.
And Black Panther.
And Black Panther. Like, it's the reason why I think, at least in my head, like, you know, Disney is not stupid. They're almost too, like, they're too smart to do anything stupid, I feel. And I mean, people will argue, well, they ruined Star Wars. I'm not going to get into that. But, like, like, that's a whole different beast on its own.
We're an hour into the episode, guys. Don't talk about ruining Star Wars.
we're gonna try to wrap it up soon. But I think it's true. Like, the climates, like, people, I think, another movie that I almost think was almost kind of maybe was almost bound to happen because of the climate at the time. What was it? It was that one movie with Steve Carell. It was with it was about the great financial crash of 2008. The fuck was it? Oh my god. What the fuck was that movie? The Big Short.
Oh, you say, kids? Oh, sorry. Which I didn't understand that fucking film. They tried to do it in a way where, like,
they had like celebrities come in to explain, like, fucking.
And here's Bar Raffaelli in her bathtub explaining to you how short selling works. And I didn't get it. I was just looking at her titties.
That was also Anthony Bourdain too before he died. Holy shit.
For real? Was he one of them?
Yeah, he was actually one of the ones to explain it as well.
Wow,
yeah.
I don't remember that. Because truth be told, I tried to follow that film, but it really does delve deep into, like, fucking, like, really high-end economics. It's a pretty confusing film.
It took me, like, repeats of, like, 3 times, like, per of those scenes to kind of at least have a kind of an idea of, like, what they were talking about. And after, like, the 3rd time, I sort of got it at that point. But it is one of those movies where, like, you probably may have to repeat some scenes just to know what the fuck they're talking about. Mm-hmm. And obviously, if you have to repeat a scene for a movie, you're not going to want to watch the rest of the fucking movie because you want a movie to be one continuous thing that you don't have to pause and rewind back. So, I mean,
a huge pet peeve of mine when people do that. Like, if I'm by myself and I'm watching something, I'll do that. But when I'm with other people, no. That's the worst.
Nah. Yeah, it is. But, like, I think, so just to conclude, at least in terms of movies, I think everyone... I don't think if you kind of know the climate, depending also within your country, everyone I don't think will ever be surprised in terms of certain movies that come out. And it's even funny we mentioned that, considering during World War II, Germany had many films that had come out of the woodworks for them. And there was one movie that had come out that was starring, well, not starring, but it was about...
I'm sorry.
Call of Duty World at War. Germany had the best march after victory.
I'm not gonna lie.
Even though, look, also another thing about that march, it was not first a Nazi march. It was a Prussian military march that they basically said, we're gonna use this, and we're gonna make it into a Nazi march.
Oh, not even that. Like the fucking it's one of the last missions of the entire game where, like, you're playing as Petrenko and, like, you're with the 3rd Shock Red Army and you're fucking. You're infiltrating the fucking Reichstag.
Yeah.
Like, that music's playing on the radio, and that added such a level of immersion.
Oh.
It hit.
World at War is, like, still up here.
They gotta remake. They gotta remaster that game. I'm surprised they haven't yet, but whatever. We're not delving into that. Point is, you know.
So, like, Germany even, like, also, like, by 45, when everyone was closing around them, they were still making movies. One movie came out when the Russians were literally coming to their gates. And it was essentially about, like, Frederick the Great, who, if anyone doesn't know, like, he was a famous
out the gate, first serving a state. Oblique tactics ain't exactly straight.
I was actually watching some ERB stuff, like, when I was on the toilet one time, and I was like, damn, I remember all these. Like, just nostalgia.
Right?
Just, like, watched it.
I do, too. The amount of fucking bars I remember. I've got creative talents and battle malice, heart of steel in the field, genteel in the palace.
so going on, like, I actually really like that episode, believe it or not. But
yeah, me too. Like, that was a great battle.
So that movie, so this movie that Germany made, especially by the basically the Twilight years, the Twilight weeks of, like, World War II, in 45. Like, it was about a similar situation that basically the fatherland also found themselves in that it was around this time that in this movie, Frederick the Great was being also surrounded by several enemies from east and west. It was almost a very like the obviously the whole Nazi film industry was just another like voice for the Reich, and like plus for also like just the party itself. All the movies you're gonna make, you're gonna basically extol Nazi values and Aryanism and say Jews are evil and shit like that. Like, you got to do it. Like, otherwise, well, we're going to destroy your studio. So you have no choice in the matter anyways. But some of those directors, like, also hopped on that train like this. Like, they just, like, knew, like, oh, this is where the money's at? Fuck yeah, we'll make those movies. I don't give a shit. And for this movie in general, like, it's, yeah, like, about Frederick the Great. And it's supposed to be, like, a parallel almost, like, to where, like, kind of Frederick the Great's almost like Hitler in the sense that, like, we're being surrounded on all fronts. It looks as if, like, we have no hope, but, like, they still, like, hold out for the final victory. Like, it's like we're like the NC, like, we're gonna win. No, like, even though it looks bleak, we're gonna win no matter what. But the funny thing is that at least when it came to this whole thing with Frederick, he was fighting against Russia as well. So, like, there was those parallels that, like, a lot of people were starting to kind of draw, like, between the two of them. But for Frederick, the reason why that, because even he felt that, oh, like, I'm going to die. Like, everyone's going to come and invade, and I'm going to probably get strung up and killed. Like, he knew, like, what the fuck the deal was. But for Frederick, at least in history, the Russian empress at that time, she died right before that invasion kicked off, and right afterwards the guy who took her place had such a hard-on for fucking Frederick that he basically switched sides right then and there and had Russia be allied with Prussia right after that. So they called it the miracle of they called it a miracle of something, but that was, like, people say, like, that was almost like God's providence that, like, it basically said, like, to tell Frederick, like, you are destined to, like, win in a way. Like, you're ordained by God to win in a way. And that movie came out when literally Germany was being surrounded by all sides in modern day Germany at that point, like, by the Americans, the Russians, the British. Everybody was coming for Germany's plump asshole. So, like, the climate, like, again, is very important when, let's say, you're kind of nobody ever really kind of predicts movies unless, like, they're as David said, like, a marketer for films. But, like, you won't be surprised if you kind of feel like and gauge out, like, the the climate that's going on at the moment. And I mean, who's to say in the future? I mean, no one really knows too much about the Russian film industry, I bet, like, among all of us here. But if, when that war is over, like, that's going on in Ukraine, chances are there's probably going to be a lot of anti-war shit about that whole war, like, coming out.
Yeah, I can't wait to catch the Netflix special about that shit immediately afterwards.
Who the fuck's going to play Putin, though? Maybe you know what? You could get Kevin Spacey.
I was just fucking thinking, like, Kevin Spacey.
He's, like, vile enough that, like, he could just shave his head and just speak in a
like,
fake...
he was vile in real life, too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, he's built for the role. Like, literally. I mean, but, like, they'd also have to pay this fucker.
You're saying we're going to uncancel Kevin Spacey? We're going to uncancel Kevin Spacey for one role.
To be fair, he's dug himself in such a hole that I don't think he'll ever be able to be uncanceled for it.
Well, no, he literally got called out, like, for trying to sleep with underage people.
Like, this is not like Louis C.K.'s type shit. Like, he was actually a vile ass human being.
Yeah, where you, or like, fucking Aziz Ansari, where you went on a bad date or whatever, and then, like, just something turns into something else because someone just regrets something decision. Like, no, he literally got caught, like, seeking to fuck underage people. So, like, that's how it goes. Yeah. I can't wait to see you on the fucking, like, historical, like, the more mature rated historical documentaries. Because you would be perfect for, like, a comedy show about world history. And I'm not talking, like, drunk history or whatever. I'm like, because you just describe these things in such a way, because everybody was just coming for Germany's plump asshole. Like, no one else describes historical events like that. It's just...
When you piss off that many nations in the world, like... you know what to expect by the end, man.
Yeah, you do, don't you? I wonder if there's any parallels you can make about the modern day with that. Anyway, we're done.
Economic sanctions.
Yeah, no, I guess
Yeah.
we are done, folks.
We are done,
hope you enjoyed
guys.
this episode of the Double D Experience. I thought this was a great one. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, same.
Again, that was
here's
a
our-
perfect amount of lack of structure.
And here's our plugs.
Boom.
Right here, motherfucker.
Right in the face. We are available wherever you get your podcast. Out here on youtube.com/Nintoonist, here on Spotify if that's where you're listening, and also on Apple Podcasts where you can leave us a good review and that'll help us get noticed a little bit more. We'd appreciate that. Google Podcast, Anchor, Breaker, Radio Public, all that other stuff as well. And if you want, you can go ahead and follow our socials because Dennis has been posting some fire memes on them shits recently at Twitter at Double D Pod and on Instagram at the Double D Experience 21. Not gonna spoil anything for next week or the week after that, but the week after that we will be doing Double D's Go to the Movies as a full episode reacting to the Sonic film because it will be out at that point. We should probably reserve tickets, to be honest. No? You want to go in and just hope it doesn't get sold out?
I mean, we trying to go to the midnight release?
Nah, fuck that.
Oh, like I mean, you know, I don't know. I guess I don't want to go into this, but it's just like I kind of miss midnight releases. I remember when we were
you
young.
want to do it? I'll do it.
But it's like when we were young, though. I had that stamina. Now when it's 12 a.m., I want to go to fuck to bed. I'm boring now. Like it's just like back in the day, we had that stamina. Now I'm just kind of like when it hits 12, I just want to go to sleep.
Dude,
I don't know what it is.
Being in bed at 10 p.m. Oh.
So I mean,
heat.
we still gonna watch it, but I don't think a midnight release is kind of on the table.
You also got to see the first one.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't.
Okay.
I already know what happens. Sonic wins.
Debatable.
All right, guys.
Bye. We love you so much. So